video, we're going to discuss the schedule screen. So from the home screen, we're going to click on schedule, and here we have the schedule. So let's start with let's start with the filter. So filter is just basically a text filter. You enter text, and it will filter based on the text. Um, the back button is to go back to the previous screen. The add button is for adding an event, and in an event you have the subject or the name of the event, the start and end, and then the places, one or more places, and then info, which is HTML, that goes into the event. Now for the main menu here, you can choose a schedule, so you can have more than one schedule, and you can, right now we're using the main schedule, but you can switch to other schedules. You can show the itinerary, which basically goes to basically shows an itinerary, an HTML version of the schedule. Then you can also write the itinerary to the guide document, or the home screen. So obviously don't do this unless that's what you intend to do, but if you're creating a guide and what you want to show on the home screen is the itinerary, which is often what you want to do, this is a quick way. There's other ways of doing it, but this will be a quick way of doing it. Show and map will show the places that are involved in this schedule on the map, whereas the filter places in schedule does the same thing, but it filters based on the schedule name. So the whole guide will be filtered, and only the places in that schedule will be shown. So that's useful if you have obviously a guide with multiple schedules. Let's say each schedule is for a different city, then you can just filter by that. You can change the start date. That's very useful if you're using somebody else's guide and you want to change it to reflect the date you're going on the trip. Copy events will copy all of the events to a different guide. So it's useful for copying. Obviously, delete schedule. Well, you can delete the schedule. You can add a schedule, so it just adds another schedule with one event, one entry in it. You can rename the schedule. Recalculate, what that does is it uses the events and the places that are already here. It uses the duration. So each place has a duration. Like, for example, a museum, you might put 60 minutes or 120 minutes. Maybe other places you might put 30 minutes. And then it also calculates, so it calculates based on the duration of the place, the amount of time that it takes to go from one place to the next, an approximate time, and a rounding. So there's, in settings, you can set the rounding of the travel time to 0, 5, to 10, 15, 30, something like that. So those are all the menus there. Now this here on the schedule, if you click on main, then this, which is the schedule name, then you get the menu for the schedule. So you can choose the schedule, you can show and this is actually very similar to the main menu, just another way to get to it. And if you click on the calendar, that's a quick way to switch between schedules. All right, now we're going to go to the individual days. Now, once you see these 6 dots here, this is actually for, you can actually rearrange the days by dragging and dropping. It always drops below, it rearranges it below. So obviously, if you go from a bottom one to a top one, it doesn't. From this one to this one, it won't do anything. Sorry, if you move from December 6th to December 5th, it won't change anything because it's going to put it after December 5th, which is already there where it is. Let's see. All right, so the menu, we can filter by this day. Again, let's say you have a schedule, which is a 10-day schedule. you only want to see the places you're going to visit on that day, the filter is useful. You can move the events to the time on the events. You can set the day start time. So let's say you change your mind, you want to sleep in. You can change the events on that day and maybe to start a little bit later. You can move all the events starting at a certain time to a different time, and you can delete the day. All right, now we get down to the actual events. So you can edit the event. It's similar as creating one, the same similar dialogue. It has a menu, so you can center the places in the event in the map. You can filter the guide based on to show only the events, only the places in this event. You can show the details of this event, and you could have more information. This one doesn't have. It has a link, but not much else. You can shift the events up or down time-wise. You can edit the event. You can delete the event. You can add an event after or before. And combine with event above. That's useful. Well, it does exactly what it says. It takes two events and it combines them into one event. Where that comes very useful is if you created the event, the schedule automatically by importing the images that have location and date information. Well, you might have taken multiple pictures in the same spot, so they're not really different events. They're just different pictures, and maybe important pictures of different places, but they're so close together you wouldn't really call it another event. So you can combine them that way. Okay, so this is also, you can reorganize, basically, change the time, the relative. Now it's gonna rearrange the time, and you may have to go back and set the start time again after you're done rearranging. Let's see. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Thank you.